Welcome back to episode 87 of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iman.
What's going on, Willis?
All right. Well, so we had a bit of a mix-up last week. Had a little power issues, but no big deal. I paid the
Yeah.
bills.
For those of y'all wondering, why there's like a big gap, I don't know. For those of y'all loyal listeners who listen every week, I guess this is like our biggest gap, right?
Yeah.
Potentially, depending on how long it takes you to get this one out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we usually record on like the weekends or a little bit before, and then
and
it's
then put
every
shit up on
Monday.
Monday, right?
Yeah,
so
every Monday.
Now we're recording here on a Wednesday.
That's right.
Lots of shit's been happening. We got like nature battling against us, I guess. Or if you want to call like electrical issues nature, it's more like infrastructure fallout or something. I don't know.
Like mechanical like equipment issues too.
Yeah. It's just like civilization error, I guess. And then you got you freaking with
looking for a new domain.
A new domicile.
Yeah.
So it's tough all around, dude.
Yeah.
Plus there's all kinds of craziness going on.
Hey, but you know what? For the podcast, the new domicile will have a dedicated space for
That's
this.
right, dude.
So that means
hopefully this COVID shit's like over with soon. I mean, I'll be honest, like I haven't been like that COVID responsible, you know? Like I could potentially be a super spreader, like based on my behavior activity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not like scared like I used to be back in like March and April. Like I was terrified. I think everybody was, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was terrified at the start. Nobody wanted to like get near anybody. So I was like hunkered in, but now I'm starting to just like venture out and shit, dude. Like everything's open.
Yeah.
Everyone's out there. But so yeah, once we get this new studio up and ready, I'm pretty sure we'll be back to normal, dude. No more COVID edition recordings.
Well, yeah.
You know
not only that, I think we can probably record this stuff more often and like at any hour, right?
Yeah, I just got like book my ass over there, dude. Whenever like some kind of event goes down.
Yeah,
that was like our initial thing. Like we wanted to be like so on the spot with like like let's say Bitcoin literally just went up like 2%, 5% in a day. You know, one of these like crazy unexpected rallies. Like, all right, dude. Like,
you would rush over.
Cave. Yeah. To the Bat Cave. Let's record, dude.
Yeah.
Like shit like that, but it's a lot more difficult than you initially anticipate, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's that, and we had a Decentraland event today with wearable. That was pretty interesting. There was tons of people there.
Wearable.
Wearables.
Knows how to get people hyped and excited. Like they're using tokens like nobody's ever used them as far as like marketing tools, you know?
Yeah.
Like getting people.
Well, they're tapping into different communities and doing airdrops with each one. And I mean, it brought like over 1,000 people to Decentraland in like a day. So
yeah,
I mean, that's so pretty good.
Definitely broke a Decentraland record, right? That had to be more than even like the chest event, I bet. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, the chest event had like $100,000 up for grabs. I think something like that. And this,
but even then, like I still think this had a bigger turnout than that. I don't know.
Well, you know what? I think it was a little bit more stable than the chess event because the chess event was a total stable. Like train wreck.
That's true. Yeah, a lot of people probably tried to log in and couldn't, so they just left. A lot of people probably did log in. It was a lag fest, and they just bailed like 5 minutes in. Actually, yeah, I know a lot of people did that. So
yeah, and the hardcore, like actually went through all the chests.
Yeah, exactly. The hardcore, like all the people are still lingering around these days.
Yeah,
a year later,
diehards.
Yeah, dude. We're all tryhards. So
it hasn't even been a year, man. Can you believe that?
Huh?
It hasn't even been a year since the launch.
Hasn't been, yeah. I mean, it's probably been about a year since like we literally like got involved.
Oh, for sure.
Because I remember we were like part of the first ones. We went to the Halloween event last year.
Yeah, you know what? The beta launched in July. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And then
beta.
Yeah, and then the beta. So then the Halloween event. I think that's where you got like your rare wearables.
My rare mask that nobody wants to buy from me, dude. You told me to hold on to it, dude. So far, it's a terrible decision, man. I should have sold it when like everybody wanted wearables, you know?
Yeah.
That's the thing, dude. Wearables, I don't know. That market is not nearly as lively as people hoped it would be.
Yeah, what happened, man? What happened?
just like anything in crypto, dude, you got hype cycles, dude. You got bull and bear phases. I think we're like in the bear phase for the wearables and like the land. I think it has to do with like, crypto kind of showing some bullish signs. So all
Oh
of a
yeah.
sudden these alternate digital escape assets just don't seem that valuable anymore, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point.
People chasing like the quick bucks, and myself included, dude. I got rug pulled for the first time like
But
the other day, dude. No,
this is the
is that my
first
first?
time.
I think so, dude. That's the first time I legit got scammed.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
I mean? But it's not like I wasn't expecting it, dude. I invested into something called No Brainer Finance or some shit. It was a clone slash meme ripoff. I mean, Core. You remember Core?
Oh yeah. Core. It's still going, by the way.
Yeah, Core's going because they were actually, the innovator. Like, just like memes going, right?
Mm-hmm.
These guys, they come up with something new and is exciting. At least you got to give them that. Like, I mean, they're doing something new and
Yeah.
creative in the
Yeah.
space. But they always have tons of copycat ripoffs, and this was one of them who literally copied the two, like Core and meme, by combining the liquidity lockup mechanism of Core with the NFT minting mechanism of meme.
Hmm.
They made something called Brain, and it was a total
Brain.
rug.
So I mean, what was the point of it though? Like, how do you? Well, how would you use it?
The same way you would get, like, you use your meme tokens, right, to mine these pineapples or whatever to purchase NFTs or to get access to these NFT art pieces.
Yeah.
Same shit, except this time, like, whenever you lock up liquidity, you can't take it out.
Right.
That's it. Just like, so Core, like Core's, they're doing the same thing. You lock up liquidity, but you're getting a vapor token in return. The Core token.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, it sounds cool, but
And
I
so
mean,
this was
I'm
another
calling it a rug just
anonymous.
because it went from $90 to like $10 in like a couple of days. I don't even know the news. I don't know what happened. I just know the price crumbled. So
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
And so this was another anonymous project.
Yes, it was. So again, I went into it knowing that, and I still bit the bullet, dude. I was chasing those meme bucks, dude.
Yeah. So going back to our previous recording that completely failed. So I also invested in CBDAO, and what happened was I put in like a couple. I think it was like $700, and then it doubled, and then more than doubled, right? But it doubled, and then I took my principal out, and then I just let it ride, right? It was a pure gamble, and then they rug pulled. I think and they rug pulled at the bottom, dude. It doesn't make any sense. If they could have waited like another 6 months, they could have at least like recovered to
Yeah.
like status quo, right, where it started, and then they would have significantly gone far. And the crazy thing is, they got an audit, and it got audited, and the auditor said that everything looked fine. I mean, it doesn't really say anything about who the project leaders are, right? Obviously, but
Yeah.
their code was good enough, right?
They weren't. So they were anonymous too, right?
They were anonymous.
See, man, these auditors need to make a rule. Like,
Oh yeah,
we no longer want to stake our reputation with anonymous founders.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
would, if I were starting an auditing entity, that'd be
agree.
rule number one.
I agree.
If you're
Yeah.
anonymous, don't even fucking come at me, bro. It's
Yeah.
like, we're the gold standard of auditors here.
Yeah, I
You know
totally
what I mean?
agree. Because think about it. If you use these, this our auditing company, right, the one with the gold standard, right, where you can't be anonymous,
Yeah.
and this anonymous team discloses who they are to us, and then they rug pull, then it's like, dude,
Yeah.
you're done.
I guess, like, because I guess their defense is like, we're not auditing like the teams, we're just auditing the code.
Yeah.
So as long as the code is present, like, we did our job. But maybe like,
Well-
yeah, auditors, they need to step it up a notch. Maybe like become more like,
Yeah, because what's the point? Like, if you green light this
Yeah.
smart contract and they just rug pull on everybody, it doesn't look good on the auditor.
it shouldn't. I mean, that's the first thing I look at. Like, when you're saying these things, like, hey, they even got an audit and they still rugged.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at the auditor like, yo, what the fuck? Why didn't you guys see this coming?
Yeah, and ultimately, there's no reason for why anybody who's doing any project needs to be anonymous. There's no reason.
Yeah, man, it's like an obvious. It's a horrible trend that's happening in this space, and I think we talked about it on this, a non-recorded episode. Might as well talk about it again. Yeah. That it's like a sign of the infancy of where we are, like in the DeFi space, because of Uniswap, right? It allows this to happen because the technology itself is a decentralized gateway for like projects now. Before Uniswap, like, we were like slowly but surely turning into like a centralized ecosystem where
That
everything had to go
was
through a big, juggernaut exchanges in
like
order to like
Binance, the Binance
Binance,
Launchpad,
Coinbase, huh?
the Binance Launchpad.
Yeah, Binance Launchpad, KuCoin has one, Coinbase has one. So if you were a project, like if you were us, we're trying to build something, we'd have no shot
Yeah,
because we'd have to
exactly.
pay hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever the fuck and go through Binance,
Yeah,
to pay their tax.
yeah.
So now we're finally free, because it's something like Uniswap, these automated market makers. But it comes with a huge double-edged sword. Now it's fucking the wildest of wests. You know what
And
I
you know
mean?
what? I was thinking about how, if these anonymous projects, as simple as it is to not invest in them, the problem is that so many people are investing. These are doing 10x's in like a week. And
Mm-hmm.
so even knowing that they're anonymous, you still have like this inkling to like, drop a dime or two in there just to see what happens,
That's what I did, and it
But
makes sense. You want to know why? Because like again, in that traditional like VC backed pre-sale seed investor, mechanism of the 2017 era where everything was run by exchanges.
mhm,
This is what happened. Anybody who had access to those early like seed rounds of investment, they were the ones getting the 10, 15x returns immediately, right? As soon
mhm,
as they got listed on exchange. So they were the ones dumping on the rest of us. Like that's how they always got rich.
yeah,
Now it's like the community has access to that starting point now on Uniswap, and like almost every token has this 10 to 15x run up initially, just like you would expect, like in a seed round.
yeah,
So think of it like that. Like these huge run ups you're seeing, these are like the pre-sale seed round like hype cycle, and then huge dump sell-offs. And then I don't know. These projects are gonna have to figure out a way how to organically get that hype back up, but most of them won't. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
they're all dead
yeah.
because they're all fucking. I don't know, man. So yeah, the question is, where do we go from here, man? Like, what needs to be fixed in order to I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have lost trust in this DeFi space.
Yeah, I mean, I was going through the Coinbase wallet, and I noticed, and this team was part of Coinbase for a while, but I realized like Yearn Finance is on Coinbase, dude, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's really the one that started it all,
Mm.
right? Wi-Fi, and I don't know. I'm thinking about your question is like, where do we go from here? I don't know, dude. That's
Yeah.
like because we talked about NFTs and we talk about how all NFT projects are going to start incorporating ERC20 tokens because that's really what's going to pay the bills,
There's
um,
that, and
us
there's legit
included.
reasons for it too. Like it's an obvious like community incentive
Hmm.
tool to get people to like
Yeah, but then you look at Rarible and it's not exactly like a dominating coin, right?
It's true.
And so even though they have the right incentives, I don't know if it's that sustainable
They might not have
unless
the right tokenomics. They might have not thought that through. I think there's too much short-term inflation, meaning every day there's like a pretty sizable chunk of tokens being minted and like distributed, right? So
well, it's like every week is 75.
75,000 new
Yeah,
tokens, right?
that's right. New tokens.
Every week.
But
So in
it's
order for that to sustain, it's like so they're gonna have to layer in some type of staking use case for these tokens in order for that, to offset that inflation, I feel like.
hmm.
Same with Uniswap. Uniswap's having the same problem, dude. You know,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
these whole mining mechanics, like they're a great way of distributing tokens to your community, right? And avoiding all this pre-sale shit.
Yeah.
But it adds way too much like
Sell
sell
pressure.
demand into the market.
Yeah.
Not enough reason to hold onto that token. So they're gonna have to incorporate some type of lock your token for this purpose type thing.
Hmm.
You know,
And that might not be enough, dude.
it might not. Maybe so you're gonna have to get even more clever. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like there's all kinds of shit that needs to be done. So yeah, these are the questions you kind of want to ask. Like, what do we do from here? The main tenets you want to uphold is like we want to keep this decentralization thing going because we like this, right?
Yeah.
Because we recognize like that the ecosystem we lived in 2017 2018 was becoming, it was a game of whales. Only whales were like
Profiting.
benefiting,
Yeah.
profiting. Now we're slowly taking that power away. That's kind of like the whole ambition of the space. It's just now how do we create the alternate tools or services or whatever that also remain decentralized, but also like protect ourselves. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
So there's a huge opportunity here for like new projects to kind of like spring out of that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I totally see what you're saying. I think, I this tokenomics stuff, I don't know if it's enough just to come up with like a tokenomics that will sustain a project because, like, if you come out with a token, like for example, we will, the goal is to provide enough value represented within the token that the price, goes up. And
yeah,
so,
for our case in particular, let's talk about ourselves because we're our platform where traditionally businesses, because we have to operate as a business still because MetaZone requires human labor in order for it to exist.
yeah,
It's not like it can't be 100% automated, so it's not like this protocol that can sustain off of like a 0.1% fee, right? Like
yeah,
there's actual hands that need to be
they're put to
like
work.
put to work, and as long as this platform scales and grows, more and more hands need to come in.
Yeah,
So in the traditional world, you could sustain off of like a business model, like
dude,
an app store,
exactly.
30%.
Yeah,
So if the reason why you want this token value to like have proper tokenomics structured into it so that like the value of it goes up over time is because we're exchanging that traditional business model and we're giving that revenue share sort of to like the rest of the participants. You know what I mean?
hmm,
Like the other token holders.
yeah,
We're exchanging that 30% to 10. We have to make up that 20% somehow in order to sustain as like an entity, right?
yeah, yeah,
And that's where the tokens come from. The token value comes from. So it's
yeah.
like a balancing act. You know what I
So,
mean?
so do you think you're confident that if we come up with a reasonable tokenomics, that is going to provide the balance of what's needed to sustain a business in the cryptocurrency space?
Well, it's definitely like it's a good incentive, meaning like because if we don't uphold our end, meaning like we're the main core developers and builders of the platform, and kind of like we're the ones seriously guiding like the future of it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's going to be community engagement in these decisions. But so if the token value just turns to nothing, like we won't be able to sustain. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like so we're extremely motivated to do our best. To
Yeah, and it's aligned with the community too, because the
yeah
better that we do, technically the more value the token is worth. And if the token is worth more and we have the community holding this token, they have more value in their bag.
yeah, and we're rewarding the community based
Mm-hmm.
on their engagement, their behavior. If they're doing the things that benefit the platform and the community, then they're getting rewarded with these tokens. So everyone is kind of like working together to enhance the value of these things. I mean, this is nothing new. Like Decentraland's doing the same thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
for sure.
they raised all their funding through a token launch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was very successful. They hit the right timing with it, but ultimately they're motivated. They're not collecting any revenue.
Yeah, that's right.
They're 100% motivated by increasing that token value. So that's why you see things like burn mechanics. From what I've been hearing, there's going to be some new staking mechanics they're working on. Like
Yeah,
this is new.
burning means that no one has access to those tokens, right? They're sent to a wallet. And then staking
Yeah.
means that those who are holding are technically holding longer because they're putting into a protocol. And so
Yeah.
it's all about either getting rid of the token or holding the token. That supposedly increases the value of the token.
It should just off of like economics 101. You just take them out of circulation, just like gold, right? Most people they buy and hold on to gold.
Well, it's like Core Finance. They have only 28,000 tokens, right? Something like that.
I think like 10,000.
Or
That's it,
10,000,
10,000
yeah.
tokens.
Who was it that had 28,000? I think it was
I don't know.
Wi-Fi. It was Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I think it sounds about right.
Yeah. So, I mean, even then, that doesn't work, right? The scarcity of it. I mean, one token is $10,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money. But
Mm-hmm.
it still has the same mechanics. Or people still sell, right? Just because one is worth $10,000 doesn't mean that it's going to be people are going to want to hold on to it anymore.
You're just talking purely like off of like the total
Yeah,
supply,
total supply. Yeah,
the
exactly.
psychology of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because well, so when you talk about the total supply being so low as like 10,000, and then a single token is worth, you know, $5,000 or
Mm-hmm.
$10,000,
Mm-hmm.
it does have a psychological effect on the retail investor that is just too much money,
Yeah.
right, to get a single token. But the underlying mechanisms that keep that value up still are governed in the same way that even if your token was worth $1, you would still be there's still sell pressure, right? There's still
Yeah.
it's the same thing. So
Yeah.
I don't really think reducing the token supply by an order of magnitude is really going to change the how people behave with the token. I think ultimately it's like use case. It's the what the token does for the individual user. That's why it's going to increase in value. It's like the Binance token. If the Binance token reduces your fees by 50%, people are going to want the token, right? Inherently.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess you could say the same thing with like something like Ethereum. Like yeah, there's a capped supply in all these things, but up until now, there was no real utility to Ethereum other than it was like a unit of currency and exchange. I guess the gas too, but none of that really like that doesn't like eliminate the supply of Ethereum, does it? Anytime you transact,
Mm, no, no, it doesn't.
yeah. So it's not like we're slowly burning the circulating supply of Ethereum, So,
Yeah,
but we still saw Ethereum go from like less than $1 to more than 1,000. So it's not like the value of these things is 100% dictated on their tokenomics. It's more like ecosystem growth.
yeah,
Like speculative value in that, I guess, because I don't know. Now Ethereum's transitioning to proof of stake, so you would expect like the price to skyrocket. But I mean, the returns you're going to get from being like an Ethereum validator are like peanuts compared to what you can get like on these yield farming, protocols.
yeah, for sure.
So, but you don't see like the price of Ethereum like skyrocketing or anything like that. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
what do you
Just trying
think?
to figure out like what people actually care about in this space.
Yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, dude, it's always just hype.
yeah. What do you think is going to happen
And that's
to?
what, huh? Go ahead.
What do you think is going to happen to the value of Ethereum once it goes to proof of stake?
Oh man. Yeah, like if it's a successful like E2.0 rollout, basically,
Yeah,
we're proof of stake, we got validators. I mean, I think they're already like testing all that shit out like right now. But what's gonna happen? I don't
I
know,
think
man.
I don't know if a whole lot's going to happen
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards too. Like, dude,
I
come
think
on.
there's
Like,
still
how
going
is
to
this
be
not priced in? You
yeah,
know,
yeah, that's true. I
we've been
think
talking about this for years now.
yeah, it has to be priced in, but we saw Ethereum go all the way to $1,400 when Bitcoin went to 20,000. And
Yeah.
then we're talking about Bitcoin going up to 100,000 or more. So that's 5 times more at the peak. So we could see what a maybe $5,000 or $6,000 Ethereum. I mean, is that crazy? Is
No,
$100,000 Bitcoin crazy?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I mean, if we thought it was crazy, then we wouldn't be in this space. It's
Right.
kind of like, but those are the drivers of this whole thing. I
Yeah.
guess Bitcoin really is the driver of this whole thing. So, I mean, I'm anticipating the same thing that happened in 2017. It's just money funnels into this market through Bitcoin and eventually just like disseminates throughout the rest of the space. And Ethereum is going to be the first one to get that money.
You know
I
what?
mean,
One of the videos that Chico Crypto did maybe like a week or two ago, he was talking about that funnel that you're talking about. He
yeah.
said that funnel is no longer going through Bitcoin as it was in 2017. It's actually just starting in the DeFi space.
Well, right. Yeah, that's I see it too,
Yeah,
but I don't think this is like different money. This isn't like retail money, like because like this is like This is just like internal crypto money, like coming from one space and like entering another. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah, that's
I,
true. Yeah,
you
this
know,
isn't retail.
yeah,
This isn't like our cousins and uncles like getting into
DeFi.
DeFi.
Yeah, it's not happening. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, but that's where the real money is. Like, good luck trying to convince like a hedge fund or like one of these ETF. Like, what is
yeah,
this
yeah.
shit you call it? Like
Like
grayscale.
Fidelity and Grayscale. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, good luck trying to get them to put money into fucking Uniswap or like fucking Compound or something
Yeah,
like that. You know,
right.
it's not gonna happen, dude.
Yeah,
But that's the money that this market has been like waiting for. You know, it's gonna start with Bitcoin, dude. Like as much as I mean, you probably like to hear that, but as much as I don't like to hear that, it's like you know, just because I'm not cryptocurrency, just don't do it for me, man. Just not.
like what do you mean? You're talking about the token, platform tokens?
Yeah, like tokens that their only use case is literally just tokens. Like we're
Oh, the
just a
currency.
medium of exchange. I say that, but I understand like how important that is.
Yeah.
I guess you have to be like a real hater of like you know, the traditional financial system
Mm-hmm.
in order for that to sound appealing to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I'm a comfortable fucking American, right? Like I'm happy with I'm happy with my day to day life. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
I'm
like
not out there pitchforking. You know, I don't like what the tactics the Federal Reserve uses. You know,
yeah, but you're not like Venezuela where
where
the
shit is
the
100% hit the fan. I'm like, dude,
currency
fuck yeah,
currency is more valuable as a toilet paper than it is as an actual currency.
exactly. And I think that's just like my human nature in me. Like I don't react until like shit hits that kind of fan. You know, and then I'm like, oh fuck, dude, like I should have seen the value in Bitcoin all along. I mean,
But
but I do see this value. I understand that.
but we can't lose sight of the fact that Bitcoin has not gone below $10,000 in over 3 months.
Yeah,
Like that's never happened before.
I know. But
And
what does that mean?
so that means, I mean, we're accumulating again.
Yeah.
That's all it means is that, dude,
Yeah,
when
the
did it?
last time we saw like this kind of sideways action was like around the bottom, right? When it was around 3 to 4 thousand,
Yeah,
and then out of nowhere
exactly,
just did that huge
exactly,
pop,
exactly.
and we're like, oh shit, yeah. That's like when we first started this podcast,
That's
right
right.
around the time.
Yeah, we started around at $3,400,
Yeah, and
and
then
then
you
like
read that
next week it
report,
was like $4,500. I was like, oh shit, something's
and then like a
happening.
month later it was like 12,000,
Yeah.
and then not even like a couple weeks later.
Yeah, yeah. We were on the podcast with Frankie, and we were watching it live.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
and ever since then, dude, we've
Uh,
just been chilling,
Yeah.
waiting for it to get back up there, dude.
uh,
It's been a tough wait,
yeah.
but
Dang,
yeah,
that
I
was over a
agree,
year
dude.
ago too.
More than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's not lose sight of that for sure. But like, just understand that's going to be the driver of everything. All the shit that we're talking about and like paying attention to, like Jesus Christ, dude, it's like the dude. We're like in the micro of micro caps. You know what I mean? Like talking about 5 million market cap projects and shit like that.
Yeah. Which
Like
have done
that's
nothing.
huh?
They've done nothing for the most part.
Most of them. But like if we're talking about wearable, which we just did, you know, the wearable's doing something. They're the number one NFT platform in existence right now as far as volume. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Well, you know
something.
what? That is something, and it's probably because of the wearable token, right?
It's 100% because of that,
Yeah,
and
because
it needs to be noted and like dissected and understood, and
yeah,
like because of that, we need to project what's going to happen in the future,
yeah,
which I think.
and that projection is other NFT minting platforms are going to come out with their own ERC20 token.
Yeah, because like what we just talked about, like it's a no brainer, like ecosystem or community tool, like to keep people engaged and like
And
it's
ultimately, the devs, it
yeah.
doesn't cost them anything. It's a smart contract they develop. They mint 1 billion tokens or whatever it is, and then
Mhm.
they do an airdrop, and that's it. That's all they have to do.
Yeah, that's what they did today. They just onboarded 1,500 new community members. Essentially, like they just
Yeah,
siphoned all the community like excitement out of Decentraland. Unfortunately, in this case, I think a lot of people were disappointed because of the low
Oh yeah.
output. Like from what we've heard, like in our Discord group, they're like a lot of people. The problem is we're spoiled because of Uniswap, dude. Everyone's expecting thousands of dollars for every airdrop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean,
So
they could be
we
worth
walk out of there
thousands of
with ten
dollars.
bucks, huh?
They could be worth thousands of dollars. It's just
It
not the
could
right
be.
time.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like we're spoiled now to where we're expecting more. But the point is, they got a whole new clan that just
Yeah. Got a
is
taste of
gonna,
Decentraland.
huh?
They got a taste of Decentraland with this rarible
Yeah,
airdrop.
they got a taste of Decentraland and wearable.
Yeah. It
So
worked.
yeah, it makes their community bigger. Now they got token holders, so automatically when you're a token holder, you're just interested.
Yeah.
You know,
That's true.
automatically.
That's true.
So they're going to be paying attention. Now they're going to go to wearable. They're going to see what the marketplace is all about, and then before you know it, they're spending money on these fucking NFTs, and then they're hooked.
Yeah.
You know, so
Hey,
that's what like
can you spend raries at rarible?
that's a good question. I don't know,
Okay, let me check this out. Because if you can, I mean, that's just another use case, right?
but why would just to spend it like maybe some kind of like bonus or like discount or something if you do.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, but they could definitely design something like the more rares you spend, the more. Yeah, you like it's like a casino site. Like
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, dude. It's just
no,
ETH.
well maybe that's what I'm talking about. They're gonna have to think of like new things, you know, to get that Rari token back up again.
Yeah. Yeah, some people are coming up with some cool art, dude. I mean, I'm looking at it now, and I mean, if you step away from the space for like a month, and then you come back to the art space, like it's a lot more complicated, like what people are doing now, because they're using 3D software to make their NFTs, and
Mm-hmm.
instead of just like just a generic PNG and like a straight 2D art, like people are getting pretty smart out there with what they're creating.
Well, yeah, it's like anything else, right? Like the market gets saturated, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, it starts maturing.
yeah, you have to evolve to like
Yes.
stand out from the crowd. Then like the bar gets raised over time. It
Yeah.
happens in everything. It happened to us on MetaZone. Remember
How
at the
so?
beginning, people were building like kind of like basic looking houses, like real world looking shit. And over time, these things, everything's like floating now.
Oh, right.
Everything's floating.
Yeah.
You got like alien houses. You got just like, you know, the effort is increasing on metas. You know what I
Yeah. So, speaking of effort, so, well, I guess it depends when we're going to launch this video, but uh, Ethermon is going to come out with quite a big hammer of an announcement,
mean?
pretty like within the next 24 hours from this recording.
That's right. I
I don't
just
know.
finished
Yeah, you just
finishing
finished.
touches on the announcement video. I guess we could talk about it.
Yeah, so I'm pretty confident this is not going to come out today. So,
Yeah.
they're going to make an announcement tomorrow, but the problem is, things could change. They may not drop the announcement tomorrow, even though they
Well,
said they were.
regardless, like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, if you know, I
Well,
mean, I guess,
the worst thing that can happen is that they don't drop it tomorrow, and then we can't release this video tomorrow.
yeah. So then we wait until they officially drop it, and then we can drop
Yeah.
this video.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. So you want to tell everybody what the announcement is?
Not really. You tell them. I'm too nervous.
All right. Well, so the big announcement for Ethermon is that they're now owners of a pretty large district in Decentraland.
Boom.
So what does that mean?
Which
That
is pretty
means,
crazy if you
yeah.
think about it.
First of all, this is like the first big movement in a district in a while. I mean, other than I guess Vegas district, they're always like making stuff because they got an investment and they've
Yeah, but see,
always
ever since we've been around, yeah, like
yeah
we've seen nothing with districts. According to Rio and like all the other OGs, all this district shit that we have no idea how it even formed. it all happened like in 2017, right? Like around like the early days of things.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, this is the first like actual like what do you call it, an acquisition? I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I'm not
like
sure what the details are.
me neither. But a team
An
is actually,
adoption.
yeah, all of a sudden there's demand for one of these districts where a team wants to invest their own capital, right? Their
Yeah.
own resources to take ownership of one and actually do something with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that I think that's going to be big news.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're able to expand on their brand and have a large stake in Decentraland with a district.
Yeah.
Now they're not limited into what they can create. Now it's all about figuring out how to involve the community, the Ethermon community, and even a bigger community into their game involving a district. So
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of incentives for people to get involved, especially the meta owners, because that's like a primary um, item that they have in their mind in terms of like making sure the gameplay coincides with all the metas that are out there for Ethermon. Just because these are all game assets, right? They're gonna be a huge part of the Ethermon game in Decentraland.
Hmm.
And so they're talking about dungeons. They're talking about, if you have a specific Ethermon, you get access to a particular portion of the district.
Hmm.
Um, there's going to be opportunities for people to own content within that district and revenue sharing content as well. So this is a huge announcement for this team, and that's it's a huge announcement for Decentraland too. There's like a huge investor into Decentraland making not the investor is making direct content in Decentraland.
Yeah.
So it's
Like
not
the,
like any other like a quote unquote investor that's like making a cube called a building, and they're this is my headquarters. Like no, this is a full
yeah.
on game.
Yeah, this is about 600 to 700 parcels of
Yeah,
potential
potential game.
build space. Yeah, for we're calling it a verse,
Yeah,
and it's a game verse within the metaverse. So let's just call it a fucking verse. Let's coin this term now. Let's get used to it as a community.
the verse.
These aren't
Yeah.
games; these are verses.
Yes. Yes.
Because anything can exist within this district. It's not just games. It could be fucking Ethermon clubs.
Yeah.
Ethermon, let's say they create like a pet and Ethermon center for people with like social anxiety, people with anxiety disorders, stress.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Ethermon fucking
Like pet.
pet center. And yeah, you just
Yeah.
go in and you just fuck around with an Ethermon. It does something really cute and lame.
Yeah. For
You know,
sure.
to somebody that could relieve some anxiety and some stress. Like it might actually have some positive, force in the world. Is that a game? Not necessarily, but it's part of the universe.
Right. Right.
It's part
And
of the
so
verse.
we don't know all the details as to what they're planning for this district yet, because I think they're trying to make a pretty large announcement and information drop with everything. Of course, we're helping them kind of design this game for the landowners, but
Yeah, which is crazy because, I mean, this is a first for us, and it's a big transition for us.
yeah,
Not a transition, like we're still 100% focused on the 50% of the problem with Decentraland, meaning you're just like the typical average Decentraland landowner, right? You don't
right,
have access to a district. You have public land. Then there's another 50% to this Decentraland problem that we never really thought of addressing because we never thought we'd have like any
yeah,
reason to.
yeah,
We just figured out, we figured districts would figure it out on their own. That's kind of supposed to be the point, right?
yeah, for sure.
Like you own a district, you have your own community, you just build. But I mean, we've been here for more than a year, and we see like that's not the case.
Yeah,
You know,
districts have a big problem, right? They can't build
huge.
stuff because they don't have resources to build anything. And even if they have resources to build something, they don't even know what to build.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Ethermon
I
comes
mean,
in with like a huge asset. It's a huge game asset, and that game involves like these creatures that you evolve, you power up, you level up, and then you battle, and then you flip them on a third party market. So a lot of districts don't have that. They're starting from scratch,
yeah,
and nobody knows what to build. I mean, Vegas City, it's pretty clear what they're building. You know, of course, casinos and like games of that sort. But any other district, it's just lost. Nobody's doing anything.
Yeah, I
Eh, eh,
mean, it's easy to imagine. Like, let's say you're Etheria, you have access to 2,000 parcels of land. Like, you can imagine an amazing world if you have any kind of like creativity in yourself. You know,
mm-hmm.
I can imagine a cyberpunk, futuristic sci-fi type little
Yeah,
mini city. You
yeah,
know, and but just because you build that doesn't, for one, it's going to cost an insane amount of money to build, and then like, who the fuck's going to throw their money into that if there's no guaranteed return?
that's
You know,
right. That's right.
that's the root of the problem for the districts. It's like it's the same problem the Decentraland landowner has, but on a much bigger scale, like weighted on a much smaller group of people. You
Yeah,
know, like
right.
so that's a lot harder problem to overcome, but it presents a much greater
Opportunity.
opportunity
Yeah,
to to create something of value that generates money and revenue
yeah,
potential
yeah,
for whoever's involved. So that's kind of like how we have to think about it. So yeah, we're working closely with Ethermon to see if like what the hell's we're gonna do.
yeah,
They have like I said, they don't have any problem coming up with that vision. They know what they want to build.
yeah,
Like it's easy to them
yeah,
because like they've been thinking about this shit for a long time now. Like
yeah, for sure.
they've probably been fantasizing about this stuff, and like now they have the chance to build it.
Yeah, now they can realize their game that they had in their mind and deploy it
Yeah,
in Decentraland.
that's right. Because before this, they have we worked together to build like the meta version of it. It's fragmented, it's spread throughout the metaverse, but it's all connected at the same
Yeah,
time.
that's right.
So it's an actual cohesive game experience. You just have to. It's on our responsibility is to build the platform well enough to where like a player can navigate himself through this game verse efficiently,
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
like fragmented style, if that makes sense.
yeah, for sure. Like,
I mean, we haven't got there yet. Like pieces are being added in, you know,
yeah,
but
and so on top of that is there's an egg nest event happening on October 19th. And in that egg nest event, anyone can purchase this egg nest as a landowner, and you can deploy it on your land. And
yeah,
people can buy these eggs, and there's I think a 20% chance or less to get the rare Yarmeow. And so Yarmeow gives you all these different opportunities to dig, probably a little bit more often, and find more rare items with this Ethermon. So this is a pretty valuable Ethermon, and getting this particular one will gain you access to specific locations in that district.
yeah, not just specific. From what I've been told, like rare dungeons. I mean, there's going to be multiple dungeon experiences within their district, but think if you've ever played an MMO, think of it as like where all the epic loot is going to be. Like the best shit you could potentially get is going to be specifically geared to people who have access to it. So I'm assuming down the line they're going to incorporate other ways to get access to these dungeons,
Yeah,
but
for
for
sure.
now this is going to be the only way at the beginning, the first way, like you know to
Yeah,
get it.
and so I think there's going to be five total new Ethermon that you can get through this egg nest. And
Hmm.
so gaining all five, you'll gain access to a certain parts of the district, but if you have Yarmiel, you'll be accessing like the most prestigious portion of the district. So
Yeah,
that's like that's one particular use case. And I was thinking some of the other gameplay aspects that you could do with the district involve like different landowners. I think one of the main ways is to focus like very specific gameplay that could only be done in a centralized location.
mm,
Everything else, like leveling up, gaining experience, finding rare Ethermon, that's gonna
yeah,
happen like all on the other landowners' parcels.
that's right.
And so you have to come up with a different gameplay. Having a game like Ethermon and Decentraland than you would otherwise design if you were starting an entire Ethermon game from scratch, right? You download an application, you're in this world called the Ethermon world, and then you just play a game, right? With no land requirements, no restrictions with land, nothing like that. So you have to come up with something that forces the players to go to the different parcels out there, the different metas, but also then have them come back to the district for a particular action, right? So this has never been done before. Like this is a hard problem as a game designer to kind of come up with. But I mean, like we were saying earlier, when there's a big problem, there's a big opportunity.
100%. I agree with that. Um, but yeah, it's definitely like it's exciting to see like what's going to come of it. I have so many different like thoughts about this. It's insane
Mm-hmm.
that I can't even like curate them and like say anything that makes any sense right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like because you nailed it. Like it's never been done before, so we don't know how we should navigate this, and
Yeah.
it's not something we can control either.
Yeah,
And because
and it's
this is
something,
Ethermon's thing.
yeah, this is something new for us too. Like for MetaZone's perspective, like we've solved the trilemma for the landowner for the most part. I mean, obviously, there's still a couple of things we need to finish, such as the NFTs and the smart contracts for split payments and all that. But quick update. We're beginning to test these on Rinkeby and Ropsten, so that's good news for everybody, especially all the meta owners. There's 900 of you guys, or at least 900 metas out there.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if we had to pay gas for 900 metas to
Mm-hmm.
distribute the NFTs. That would be impossible. So there's going to be an opportunity for the meta owners to claim these NFTs, and then eventually we'll release our ERC20 token, do an airdrop, and all that. But going back to Ethermon, they have it's a situation for us to figure out. It's a different problem for MetaZone to figure out, and that problem is if you run a district and you don't have any resources, then you can't really build anything in that district.
Yeah.
So we propose a solution, and hopefully the community out there can give us some feedback and comment in the description and all that, and let us know what you think of having an IMO. An IMO is an initial meta offering. And what that means is if, as a designer, you come up with an idea, like a game idea, and you have these different assets of the game, you can
Mm-hmm.
do sort of a pre sale for those game assets, right? And these are full on NFTs. So the the game designer is selling full on NFTs through this IMO platform. And through the sale of these NFTs funds the development of this project. So if you apply that concept to a district, and a district comes up with a concept that they can sell metas, initial meta offerings, sell metas as an NFT to represent a design for a district, that would be a way to like have districts create content. And then on top of that, you can have the community contribute content as well, as a meta for that district. So there are ways that we can kind of solve this issue. It's just a matter of having an MVP version of it and testing it out, because that's what we did with MetaZone. Now we're just in the mode of like fully building it out and making NFTs out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's one offer, like one kind of opinion in terms of like what could solve that problem. Now it's is I think we're gonna see if we're gonna try it. See what happens.
With the Ethermon launch
Yeah,
or something
potentially. Potentially with Ethermon as well as
potentially, yeah.
and see if it works right with the initial meta offering. If maybe there's a different model that helps populate a district without requiring so many upfront cash to build something that maybe nobody goes to. Because there's been some
Mm,
districts that build something and like as soon as they build it, like there's no reason to go there.
yeah. Yeah, that's tough, man. Yeah, then you start to wonder if somehow like how then you start to look at actual successful attempts at building and maintaining and growing a community in the blockchain gaming space. You automatically have to look at Axie Infinity, right? Like they
Mm-hmm.
seem to be the standalone, standout outperformer. If you're looking at blockchain games, and it's not like the game itself isn't anything amazing, but I mean, it's a cool game, but I just like how we're identifying. Look, wearable is nothing truly special as far as the platform, but somehow they figured out a recipe to keep their platform engaged,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the tokens. It's 100% their token like mining mechanics, where like the more engagement you have with their platform, the more you're being rewarded. So it actually kind of has the same mechanic with their gameplay. The
Yeah,
more games you
exactly.
win, the more you play, the more
Or
you're being rewarded.
SOPs. Yeah,
You know,
that's right.
so you have to. So we've thought about that, and to us it makes sense. If you're trying to establish yourself in the metaverse ecosystem, like you got to keep your community engaged outside of just
You
designing
know,
gameplay, just because it's too risky.
100%,
And like,
dude.
huh?
100% because one of the missing items in initial meta offering is the fact that the IMO has to be coupled with an ERC20 token.
Yeah, because that's what represents your community. Like
Right.
in essence, you build a game, you're building a community. You know, but in this case, like these games are different because like everything costs money. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right.
it's not like a traditional like you download a game off of Steam. You might pay $10 to play it, and that's any additional money you put into it is like cosmetics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the blockchain gaming world, it's like every move you make, every little step of progress you're making in these games, it's like there's a cost involved. Think of it as like a little micro investment you're making,
Yeah.
because that micro investment is supposed to, if the designers, the developers design a good game, the purpose of you making that initial investment should be to get you a higher status within that game, so you're claiming more lucrative rewards.
Yeah.
If that's in the form of like a super rare NFT, whether it's a wearable or a weapon, whatever the fuck, or like claim to more tokens. I don't know. Like the games are still figuring out how to design this blockchain gaming, like the perfect formula. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so ultimately, what we're thinking is we're missing the launch pad for that, and like the ecosystem for that to kind of like take shape.
Yeah.
So metas is the perfect starting point, because that's literally like
The
the
underlying
assets of the
asset.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's the game itself. Like that's how you're going to build the game. That's going to be the content that's going to be placed onto the land in order for like the community to engage with, right?
Right.
That's the wearable. That's the platform. Is the game you build.
Yeah, and to keep the community involved and have that retention, you
Yeah,
reward them with the ERC20 token.
exactly. But then you got to have like, so the SLPs seem cool, but you got to have, I don't know, I mean, it's experimental. Like, what are the value of these tokens?
Yeah.
We're trying to figure that out. I have ideas
Yeah.
of like incorporating some DeFi elements into these tokens and stuff, and
Yeah, for sure.
I don't really want to discuss it at this point yet because it's just so like
Yeah, it's
unknown territory.
yeah, for sure.
But the point is, I think these things can be fixed. I mean, I think it's if something like this, whether we do it or someone else, like does this, if nobody does this in Decentraland, I don't think we get out of this trench that we're in.
Yeah, I
We're
totally
like,
agree.
you know what I mean? The only reason to come to Decentraland is like some kind of event that's being hosted,
You know
like we
what?
just
Yeah, let's
saw.
let's talk about that a little bit. Talking about
Okay.
the events. Like for example, the Rarible event, everybody showed up. Like let's say 1,000 people showed up, right? Just to give the benefit of the doubt. A
Uh-huh.
thousand people show up and they're there to claim their Raris, and then what happens?
Exactly. They just did exactly what we just talked about,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Right?
Everyone was there to get their share of the game. Rare token. Let's say that's a game that was being launched
Yeah.
through our platform
Yeah, yeah.
for Decentraland. Everyone, so they just proved us right. Meaning, like this is what's going to get people to show up and
That's
like
right.
participate.
That's right.
So it's a matter of designing a proper game mechanic that like has that same reward mechanism, but it doesn't like break the bank at the same time. It's
Yeah.
sustainable.
Yeah.
It maintains the proper tokenomics, so like the token doesn't just overinflate too quickly,
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is not an easy problem, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Not at all. But if this is something you could solve, like Jesus Christ, like that's huge. I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's what
so
we're all trying to do.
everybody showed up and then they claimed their tokens, they disappeared. It's
Yeah.
it's more about trying to figure out a way to keep that retention. If you can keep that retention, those players will keep coming back and keep
Yeah.
progressing in their game, and
Yeah,
and
it's
start.
because you want to know why they left? Because
There's nothing
the
else left to
well
do.
the gameplay mechanic was literally you push a button and you get your tokens. That was
Yeah,
the gameplay of that wearable drop.
yeah,
Now imagine you extend that difficulty a little bit more. Like there's some dungeons you got to go through. There's some,
yeah.
some rare spawn like at the far corner of the map you got to find. You got to
And
do
you
all
got
these different
another
things.
thing to kill, and
Yeah, like
yeah,
at any other game, right? You want some steps along, there's some progression. Once you get to this point,
yeah.
then you hit that button.
That's right.
Then you're rewarded with the token. You know. So I mean, that's what
Dude,
it's
that
all
makes a
about.
lot of sense, man. It's
Yeah,
like any other game.
it's just like any other game
The reason why you want to get through that dungeon is for that rare loot at the end.
for that loot. Yeah, so it doesn't even have to be tokens in the sense. Like we're trying to create value in like digital items, right? We don't have to, the ERC doesn't have to be the only thing like gamers or you know versers,
Yeah,
gamers
versers.
versers. I don't fucking know. People going through these experiences. They're not just chasing tokens. They're chasing digital items that have value to them,
Yeah,
and the value is going to be in the difficulty and the time it took to get them, other than as opposed to like what it is now. It's just like things that get minted and they have a price associated with them, and that's
hmm
it. There's
hmm
no difficulty in obtaining them.
yeah, yeah.
I
And
mean,
I mean, so that leads to the next portion of the conversation is the wearables. Like right
okay.
now, wearables have gone through like their own little bear market.
I would say so. I think it's tied a lot to gas for one,
Yeah, that's another.
and then the run up in the crypto space.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so
People
there's
chasing meme tokens.
sure there's a lot of factors contributing to this as far as the wearables go. Because there's more opportunities out there to make money, right? Whether it's like investing in a shit coin that's gonna 50x in a week, right?
Exactly.
That's better
Yeah.
than collecting that wearable that's gonna change
It
the color of your
has
shirt.
the lowest of liquidity in it. You could
Yeah,
sit around for months trying to sell that thing, as opposed to a crypto where you could instantly swap it to the next chump.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the difference between these like NFT space and like the crypto ERC space is the liquidity. That's another major problem that needs to be figured out. And luckily, there's some people out there like Niftex that are attempting to tackle this issue.
yeah, for
But
sure. And Niftex, I mean, they're ahead of the curve by a long shot. They
huge.
really called it for sure. Converting a single NFT into an ERC20 token, sharding it,
Yeah.
and so that was definitely a brilliant move.
Yeah, they definitely have their mind on the right, you know,
Yeah,
things. Like
yeah. They
they're,
realize there's
they're
no liquidity in NFTs.
yeah, it's like without that, it's just difficult, man. Like if there was a way for you to exchange NFTs somehow with some platform that's in existence, some protocol where like the protocol takes on all of that difficulty of like liquidating these things somehow.
Yeah,
Somehow you'd have to automate it, and if you could somehow onboard like liquidity from like the community who could back that, in the event like it's hard to liquidate these assets,
yeah,
as long as like the user can go in and like I'm cashing in, you'll probably cash in your NFT at a loss, but it's okay. It's an acceptable loss because I'm just trying to dump my shit.
yeah,
So then it's that loss is gonna kind of help the platform, recoup or like sustain, I guess. I don't know.
yeah,
But these are problems that could all be solved, dude. It requires like so much, like I don't know, man. It just needs attention. You know what I mean? Like someone just needs to do it.
yeah. And so the October 16th is the fashion show, and so we're gonna be showcasing our wearables plus what is it? Nine others will be showing off their wearables as well.
I think, but also the 5 mythics from
Oh
the
yeah,
first
oh
round.
that's right. 15 total. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So 5 mythics, 10 new legendary sets.
So
So it's gonna be a lot of wearables.
two teams of the 5 mythics are part of the 10. So it's going to be what 13 teams in total that are showcasing new
Who are
stuff.
the two? Dapcraft and who else?
And Wonder Zone, I believe.
I don't think they're in there.
Yeah, I think they are, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just say they are. Maybe they
Maybe.
are.
I think they are.
I don't know. Dapcraft for sure though, and they're
Yeah.
already teasing like what they're coming out with.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, they're always doing like really good wearables.
yeah, they
So,
go all out with these wearables, dude.
yeah.
I mean, not all out, but they at least try every time they try to push some kind of boundary, which I like. And we tried to do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we don't claim to be like some wearable gods, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
We're definitely like just barely like dabbling into the wearable space. Like we're actually like the furthest from that, dude. Like we don't even buy these things most of the time, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean,
But
ultimately, to me, I'm in the camp where a wearable is only as valuable as how you use it. If there's some sort of function to it, to me, it has more value than like the aesthetics.
I agree. Like in the sense that I
It
mean, I played games throughout my whole life, and I played all kinds of games. I played games like MMOs where the whole game was literally like the gear you were wearing and representing it, but it took many hours, sometimes months, to acquire certain pieces of gear. So I saw the value in that, and that's what I strove for. And this
yeah, it
shit
didn't
was
matter what it looked like.
not no, because if you had this certain thing, it made you the best in the game,
Yeah,
right? And then that to me, that's where the value is. I didn't make a penny from that, as opposed to other games I played where, again, shit you can wear, but it takes you nothing to acquire. You just got to spend some money on it.
yeah,
It's a skin,
yeah.
basically. And there's a
Basically, yeah.
huge economy off of that. Why? Because the majority of people don't think like me. They don't want to invest their life into a game, you know. They just want to, you know, they spend their day at work. They come home, they want to hop on the sticks,
Yeah,
and then they're going to spend 20-30 bucks on like cool skin on the marketplace, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And yeah, the gaming industry has exploded once they adopted that revenue model. And the gameplay has suffered also as a result. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, for sure.
But
You know, and
uh,
think about this. I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier. How minting an ERC20 token, if you mint 1 billion or you mint 10,000, like it's not gonna make a difference. Like in terms of wearables, if you mint 10 or you mint 1,000, I don't think that makes the wearable any better. That there's only 10 of them out there.
I mean, it's more rare.
I mean, it's more rare, but it doesn't make it more valuable.
I think it does.
Well, I guess it
It
depends. I mean,
just
if you have a 101, does that like an art piece? It's a 101.
it definitely makes it more valuable.
How does it, I mean,
Do you see
okay.
what's going on in
I,
Pokemon? Have you been paying attention to Pokemon?
no, what's been going on?
Dude, Pokemon is going through the bubbliest bubble of all the bubbles, dude. It's
What?
insane. So much bubble action going on in Pokemon. Like,
What?
dude, one of my friends bought a Charizard, like, you know, one of these first, I don't know, whatever Charizard he bought. He bought it like 3 years ago for like
Uh-huh.
$100, and that thing's worth like 2,000 bucks today.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
is it
like
the
it's
first
20x in the
edition or is
market.
it second edition?
Definitely not first, because if it was a first edition, it'd be worth
100,000.
like 50 to 100,000. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like a second edition. But the
Yeah.
point is, it's the first editions went up even stronger than the second ones. But the point is, the rarest shit are the things where there's the least of them in existence. So there's something called like the Beckett scale, I guess. There's like
Yeah.
PSA scale, and there's like
Yeah.
Beckett, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And the Beckett's like, we were just talking about like
Yeah.
auditors in the blockchain space.
Yeah.
The Beckett is like the gold standard. Like they're the strictest. Like if there's like a fucking like a nanoparticle off of this card, then you're not gonna get a 10. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there's only two of these Beckett, or I think they call it like BGS 10 Charizards in existence. Only two currently that have been found.
Yeah, but those
And
are
one,
first editions though.
huh?
Those are first editions though.
Yeah, they're first editions.
Okay, yeah.
First edition Shadowless Charizards that are BGS 10 graded. So there's
Yeah.
only two in existence, and one guy owns them both. He was like on Pawn Stars or something like that.
Yeah.
But dude, he's getting offers from like Logan Paul has made a video about this. He's like one of the most famous YouTubers,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and Justin Bieber's making him offers. Gary Vaynerchuk,
What?
they're making him like $500,000 offers and shit for these cards, dude. And he's like refusing. He's like, "Fuck you guys." You know, I hold like the most valuable shit on the planet in the Pokemon world.
Yeah.
But like, this is what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah, but
so
if you just
scarcity
make a
rules
one
for
of one
sure.
of something, it doesn't make it valuable. That's what I'm saying. Those cards are valuable because first they're rare, right? But they're also
Okay.
Charizards, first edition physical items, right? That's
Okay.
what makes it valuable, right? Just
Okay.
because you and I come up with art one of one pieces doesn't make them valuable.
What about
There's like
like
there's
what
lore,
about
there's
like
history with these cards.
what about all the Da Vinci shit? You know, all his paintings.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know enough about art to understand why they're so valuable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Well, it's just it's the brand of the artist. You know, like no one's gonna give a shit about what. Um, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know either. So I can't even I can't even argue for them. I don't know
yeah,
what makes art valuable, to be honest. But what's the point? You
yeah.
just don't see.
Well, I was thinking of the wearables. It's like just coming up with rare wearables. I don't think it's enough. Like for example, we're seeing nobody's buying any wearables right now,
True.
and there's 10 of 10s out there. There's gonna be
There's actually like one of ones and like one of twos out there too.
yeah. It doesn't make it valuable. Like there's a missing functionality to it that would make these valuable.
Like a use.
Like a use case, yeah, like a usefulness of these wearables.
I mean, that will definitely add like a for sure incentive to
Let's
want to own one of these things.
like think
But it's
about
not like
this.
anybody buying these Beckett 10 Charizards intend to use them. It's just straight flexing tools, dude. That's
Yeah.
it. Why the fuck do you think Justin Bieber wants that Charizard?
Oh yeah.
Just just to say he has it, you
Yeah.
know. Just so like he could like make a fucking Instagram video of him holding it and like fucking slapping it on his
Yeah.
wife's face a little bit, you know, like yeah, I see this bitch, like
Yeah.
I own you. I'm Justin Bieber. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. So they're flexing tools, dude.
Yeah, but I feel like you can only flex because there's some sort of history to it. Like there's got to be something. You can't just make one of ones and like that's it.
Okay, I think I know your. Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, it goes back to like what makes things valuable. I mean, it's like perception is what people perceive value, right? If people perceive like that Charizard not being valuable because it's like on a piece of cardboard, and I mean, like that's all that it is.
Yeah, like, dude, one of these Charizards eventually is gonna go for $1 million. Like, try explaining that to your mom and dad. You know, like,
Yeah, for sure.
imagine that. Like, hey, you see this thing? Ask them how much you think this thing costs. They're gonna be like, oh, you know, you could probably buy that at like any toy store for probably like $2, three
Yeah,
bucks. Well, you could in
yeah,
1998 when
yeah.
they were first minted or whatever.
Right.
But not anymore, dude. This is $1 million fucking card, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
So I don't know, man.
yeah.
It's yeah, you're right. It's tough to assign value to things. Like it's insane.
So we're gonna be using our wearables for the Corona Zombies game, and
Okay.
we still have to figure out like how we're gonna get these wearables distributed. Right? Is it gonna be like for sale? Is it gonna be earned? We don't know yet. So we got to figure that out.
Yeah.
And
We're
so
definitely
Ethermon is gonna be part of it. Dapcraft, Wonder Zone. Who else? Sugar Club, Sandwich. Who else do we got? Oh, and then a bunch of other people who don't necessarily interact with Decentraland as often as we do.
there's a couple of Chinese
Yeah,
entities in there.
yeah,
Actually, yeah, first and second place were both Chinese, I believe.
yeah.
The whales of the community.
And then apparently there's gonna be a couple robots in there like competing with us, which it's like
Yeah,
okay,
let's show. Can we show what we got?
uh, maybe should we?
Why not, dude? What do you mean? This the fashion show's in a couple of days. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. It's for the viewers. The viewers get a sneak peek.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me see what I can.
We need to start doing
scrounge
like
up here.
giveaways and shit, dude. Like be like way better, you know, internet people for our
Way better.
viewers.
Yeah.
One day, boys and girls, if you guys are watching, listening to this, you know, we'll cake up some cool community, you know, give backs.
Where did I have those images, dude? I was like staring right at them.
Oh no, I don't know. Let me see if I can find it for you.
Dude. I mean,
Which one are you looking for?
any one of those. Dude, I was just staring at them. Well, I found one.
Okay. Let's take a look.
Okay, let's see.
Moment of truth, boys and girls. Damn, dude, taking longer than I thought.
Uh,
Come
hold on.
on, man. The suspense is killing
Well,
us.
I'm gonna show everybody in a second here once I minimize the damn screen. All right, here we go. You won't see it, Iron Man, but everybody else is
Oh,
seeing
what?
it.
Okay.
All right, I guess I'll show the screen, damn it.
Yeah, please. I gotta see.
All right, 1 second here. Here we go. Boom.
Oh, actually, it's not that color anymore. It's blue.
What's blue?
The pink.
The pink is blue?
The pink is blue. So okay, we can still look at this picture. Just imagine blue instead of pink.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still glowy
Right
and
here is
blue.
blue.
So
Yeah.
here it is. So unfortunately, we can't rotate this thing because like the coolest thing about it is the backside, right? Like
Oh
the
yeah.
legs.
Dude, I swear I felt like I was just staring at this stuff. Like the
It's all right,
whole all the images, but now I can't find it.
but it's all right. It's enough to where we could break down each piece like piece by piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So initially, okay, yeah, let's start with the head because this is like a lot of shit up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, the first piece is the brain piece that we call what open source.
Open source, that's right.
So the initial concept is like we wanted this to be like a total like Lambo engine experience. You know, if you ever seen what a Lamborghini looks like, they have their motors on display with like the glass panel. So unfortunately, we couldn't do that according to a Decentraland limitations. Like you
Yeah.
can't have like instead of like a scalp, it would be like a glass panel, and inside the avatar's actual head would be the brain on display,
Right.
right? That was the initial concept. Couldn't do it. So this is the next best thing. We still tried to maintain like the look of a brain. It was difficult. You know, it's mostly texturing, right? So we added like more like a brain and also like this helmet structure around it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
To add some
it's
contrast.
almost as if he's wearing like a facial protection gear, but it's the top of his head is exposed sort of.
Yeah.
And so we have like a digitized brain essentially,
Mm-hmm.
and then his goggles are more like holographic lenses. And then what's really cool is that because we're dealing with like corona zombies, like there's an infection, and
Mm-hmm.
so we're using a like a hologram as a filter for his mouth too.
Mm.
So that was like sort of the initial design for these different, and these are all different pieces, I believe, right? Or is this all one
Yeah.
piece?
This is three pieces here. We got eyepiece, like a mask essentially,
Yeah,
and the headpiece.
and
That's
the
that's three
headpiece.
pieces. So we needed six pieces to complete a set, right?
Yeah,
So these are the first three. I mean, because initially we wanted the body portions to be like individual pieces, but we made it real difficult for our designer.
yeah, we did. This is a extremely complicated design for sure.
Again, for a good reason though. We're trying to push those boundaries, right? You
Yeah,
know, we're not trying to just make a T-shirt here and slap a logo. You know, like we're trying to create something new, like a new what do you call it? Benchmark,
yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
So the
thank
head,
you,
I mean,
KJ, for doing
looks
this
cool.
too.
On the back of it, there's like a wire actually coming from the brain that's connected to
Yeah, behind it.
the actual anatomy of the avatar. So like the back of the neck, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So think of it as it's connected directly into the
The spine.
what do you call that, Will? The nervous system.
Yeah, the nervous
Of,
system. Yeah, yeah,
so it's like a merger of like biology and technology. You know,
yeah,
we're not nothing new here, dude. Sci-fi, boys and girls. Like
yeah.
shit happens all the time in the future.
Yeah,
By the way, the Corona Zombie game is like set. The whole synopsis of the game is like the coronavirus evolved at some point and it became like this actual disastrous thing,
yeah,
and it killed off a large percentage of the population. Somehow, a small segment of it survived this ordeal and like fragmented themselves into small colonies around the world, and they're
yeah.
all like trying to fight the disease of these people. Call them zombies. If you're infected, you're essentially like you're a beast. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't figured out how cool the zombies are going to be yet. You know, because there's all kinds of zombies, right? Well, like you got Fast. Like remember what's that
Fast.
movie?
What's it
28
called?
Days Later, right?
28 Days Later. Yeah, that's right.
Dude, that movie was so badass. I love that movie.
Yeah.
But those zombies are like as fast as a regular human would be. Actually, I think they're faster. They're like
Yeah.
on roids, you know?
Yeah.
They're
Corv.
super aggressive.
Yeah, he calls them Zoomers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that part. But yeah, dude. So we could do that, or we could do like slow, dumb zombies. You know, we'll see.
Yeah. And so the next part here, so we have a little logo for Corona Zombies. And that's like a Corona virus,
Virus.
right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we got these like little protection shards here and
The exosuit.
the exosuit, yeah. So yeah, the exosuit we wanted to like appear like it's an exosuit, but that also became complicated. So we simplified it a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
in addition, we have these weapon pieces attached to the forearm here. And so that's for the melee action in the game. And so if you equip these items here, like any one of these items gives you a buff in the game, right? If you just
Sure.
equip like the headpiece, it's one buff for a specific action in the game. The eyepiece, the mouth guard, and then these
Yeah.
forearm pieces as well.
So we can make it even further. I mean, we just kind of like briefly mentioned the idea that Oscar, I think he likes it. Like if the eyepiece could literally give you like a different display, maybe if you're in the arena killing these zombies.
Mm-hmm.
The description of the eyepiece, it gives you vision of the infected. So maybe we add like a different like infection level to a zombie. Like one zombie's severely infected, so if you get close to it, you take more damage or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you're wearing these goggles or glasses, you'll be able to identify which ones are more heavily infected. So like,
Yeah, there you go.
Them, as
Yeah.
opposed to if you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you're taking tons of damage.
Yeah, you're like, dude, what the hell? Which
Yeah,
one
you
of these
don't even know
zombies is
why.
like, has the AIDS?
Yeah. And so if you equip these melee weapons, then you get additional melee damage and so forth. And then
Yeah.
the most the icon piece here are these separate bionic legs. I think this was one of the concept designs that we were hoping for, which KJ Walker executed perfectly.
Yeah.
And so you should see this guy walk. It's pretty cool. Like,
yeah, when you see it, I can't believe it actually walks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty
Because
cool.
if you can't tell, like the knees are inverted, right? Like
Yeah, like the shins are inverted backwards.
shins are inverted.
Yeah. And so it ended up working as, we hoped. And like it works just fine. I mean, this is like really cool. And so this will give you like a speed boost in the game.
So this is what we mean by pushing the edge. Like we changed the actual anatomy, at least perceptibly, of this avatar, which is pretty much what we wanted to do somehow. I'm expecting most people are going to maintain the human anatomy shape with their wearables, and just like add layers of clothing on top of that.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to do that. We wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
Because I mean, hopefully, like the limitations that we did come across with this design get lifted in the future to where we can get even more creative.
Yeah, like another piece that we want to add is like a drone to like the shoulder. Make some animated wearables as well. That's probably coming soon.
Animation is the big thing.
Yeah,
because these blades, it would have been cool if like they were
they're like
retractable.
Wolverine. Yeah, Wolverine blades.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but we're not there yet. But again, that's another thing we try to push the boundary on. I mean, as far as we know, there's no weapons like at all in Decentraland.
Yeah.
So these are the first actual like avatar carryable weapons in the whole
for sure
metaverse, which I think is cool as fuck. And if you couldn't tell, obviously heavily inspired by, I guess, one of Will's favorite games, not mine.
Elysium, the movie.
The Blade?
Oh, this game. Oh, yeah. You're talking about Halo, the one that I used to dominate you on.
Nah, dude.
Do you remember those days?
Yeah, heavily inspired. If you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
And the other one is just standard katana, dude.
Yeah.
Inspired by just badass like Blade.
I
Blade the
mean,
movie.
a katana is like the most ideal weapon in a zombie apocalypse, anyway. So,
You think so?
oh, I think so. Yeah, you just gotta
How come
sharpen
it's
it
like
every.
super lightweight,
It,
super efficient?
yeah, efficient, and you don't run out of ammunition, right? So, it's like
Yeah.
the most ideal weapon.
Yeah. What if your fucking blade gets stuck in one of the zombies and you're boned? I like the. It's like the guaranteed of the Halo blade, right? It's like
Oh
fucking
yeah, you just like
plasma energy
slice
or some shit.
through.
It's gonna slice through anything.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So, but still, looks cool as fuck.
Yep, yep. Yeah, KJ
Yeah.
Walker did a fantastic job with everything, man. I was too afraid like to like add stuff to this because I know it was like already complicated, and she's like helping a bunch of people anyway, so like she did a fantastic job with everything.
Absolutely. Big credits to KJ Walker for the design. Again, trying to push the boundaries of these wearables and stuff. So it's like a mixture of again human and technology, and just like badass like zombie killing shit.
Yeah,
And most importantly, we're gonna try and design a game around this wearable. You know, not around it. It's like more like we're trying to design a game. Like we just spent like the last half hour talking about like the Decentraland future gaming that we see happening. You know, that Ethermon's kind of starting.
mm-hmm.
You know, like we want to kind of create a similar model where gamers are participating, and these wearables become like actual desirable things because of the difficulty it takes to obtain them, hopefully.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
So
so now we have this wearable coming out, and it's gonna be showcased on October 16th. So if I think this video will come out tomorrow, so if it comes out tomorrow, which is the 15th, then the next day is the wearable. So if you have a chance to join, definitely join because there's going to be a lot of stuff showcasing, and then we'll see what Decentraland does with some of these wearables. I think they're taking 20%, and they're going to be doing something with it.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I don't think they're going to necessarily sell them. I think they're going to be used for like
Events.
rewards, events, stuff like that. But
Cool.
we'll see. We're going to hopefully find out more information during that event.
Yeah, totally. We'll keep
Yes.
y'all posted, man.
So
Yeah, like we've spent the last couple months a little distance from Decentraland, I guess. I guess a lot of people have. It's kind of like the roundtables have been kind of fizzling a little bit.
oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that's I don't know I mean, I think a lot of stuff has contributed to that. I
I
mean,
think a
it's
lot
like
of it has, again, like a lot of this stuff we're talking about is because of the recent run up in like the DeFi crypto
yeah,
hype.
but for
You
the
know what I mean?
last month everything's been going down. So it's not all that. It's not only that.
And what do you think it is?
I think I don't know,
We're just
man.
exhausted.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of a burnout, but there's also like life stuff getting in the way, dude. At least personally for
Well, for
me.
you,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I
But
mean for
yeah,
others too, dude. For others too. Like
I
it's
know,
not just me.
but I feel like the hype and the energy was there to like, even if there's like life shit going on, you'll make time for Decentraland. You know what
I
I
don't know,
mean?
dude. I don't know.
No,
I
I
think
don't
first
know.
of all, February started this launch, right? And then March was this COVID hit. Everybody was at the house, right?
Yeah,
They
man.
couldn't go
Maybe people were just
anywhere.
getting like emo because of COVID.
Oh yeah, I think there's a burnout with that too.
I know a lot of people are getting like super emo, like people who normally aren't like emo, like
Yeah,
depressed and shit. Like they're just bored with life, dude, because they're like tired of
yeah.
like fucking just binge watching Netflix and shit like that.
The rat
Like,
race.
well, that too. But
Yeah,
yeah, and then it's like a lot of them they're not interacting as much with people because a lot of them are working from home, so like they're just like emo naturally,
yeah,
right? Because we're social creatures.
yeah.
So yeah, man, that might be part of it. I don't know. But me, I mean, I'm thriving, dude. I'm an introvert, dude. This is heaven for me.
Oh, for yeah, same here, dude. This is
I'm chilling hard, dude. I
quarantine
don't have
is
to
my
see any people.
lifestyle, dude.
Me too, dude. Natural born hermit, dude.
Yeah,
I'm chilling. I'm chilling hard, dude. But
yeah.
yeah, a lot of people are really
Like
hurting. So
taking it. Yeah,
I feel for you guys if you are type A personalities, you know?
yeah,
You get your energy from like others. Not me.
yeah,
Others take energy from me, dude.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm perfectly fine just chilling.
Same here, dude.
Yeah, dude. So we're
Um,
definitely doing the right stuff. You know what I mean?
so to summarize, we got Ethermon has like several announcements that they're coming out with over the next couple of days. The Egg Nest launch happens on the 19th, so that's a Monday. Um, anyone
And
can
that's where
acquire
you
one of
go to
these.
buy your
You
mons.
can buy your mons, and then also, if you don't want to buy any mons, you get two of them for free, or at least one of them for free.
Mm,
So
just to get in, just to get started.
just to get
You know.
started, yeah, you don't. This is a free to play game, so just jump in and like own your Kiari and start feeding it and going around and collecting free food.
Yeah, get it leveled up in anticipation for this district launch. We don't know what's going to be built. I mean, we know there's going to be dungeon experiences. So
Yeah, I mean it could
ideally,
be
you want to walk in that bitch with something with some, some
yes,
experience.
yeah, some muscle. Yeah, I mean
Exactly.
you never know. Like the only way to get in is if you have an Ethermon at level 50, right? Even if it's a Kiari, you who knows?
Yeah, so you don't want to be the guy who finds that out on launch day, and then you're like, fuck, now I got to go level, and I'm
Yeah,
going to be a week late. And
that's
then the
right.
people who did it beforehand,
That's
they're a
right.
week ahead of you. You know the
Yeah,
progression.
that's right.
That's how MMOs go. You got to get the edge early.
Yeah.
Like you got to be that motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean everybody. If you're listening to this, you know what we're talking about. I mean, you have to be early on everything. Finding a cryptocurrency, finding a meme coin, or leveling up your Ethermon. That's all. That's why we're here,
That's right.
being early.
What
And then
else?
so we're testing smart contracts. And you'll be able to claim your NFTs soon after that. Then you'll be able to claim or withdraw your mana anytime that you want, as often as you want. Um, and then one of the things I want to discuss on this podcast, but we'll have to save it for next time, is the implications of using XDAI. I think we have to look into Matic for lots of reasons, but I think another thing we need to look into is XDAI and implementing it. For example, in today's event on Rari, you could claim a Pope using XDAI, and so you just click on this Pope thing, and then you receive this NFT, and it didn't cost you a dime.
And you didn't. I mean, I don't even know if mine worked or not, but I didn't have to do anything. Like
Yeah,
I just clicked, and it said it was. I received it, but
yeah, I
I haven't
checked it.
verified yet.
I received it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I checked it.
Wow. See, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that
So
means the POAP, whoever that
Pope.
is, they're paying that micro gas fee
Yeah,
for
it's
everybody,
dust,
pretty
dude.
much.
It's like the most ultimate dust that you can imagine.
Yeah, I know. I bought some XDAI, or I swapped some XDAI. I used XDAI to buy Honey Token. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Still holding on to that biscuit, dude. So far, not so good, but it's at least they didn't rug pull, like
Yeah.
this other token I got
No,
totally
they
rugged.
won't because they had to verify all the humans right involved. So they're not gonna rug pull.
No, yeah, I have way more faith. I still
That would be
I
the most
still like
vicious
the
rug
honey,
pull of all kind.
huh?
That would be the most vicious rug pull if they did that.
Yeah, I still like honey. I think it's an interesting concept. So I mean, maybe it's something I'll talk about more in the future.
Yeah, but the main reason is I think we should be using XDAI for everything, meaning
I agree with you 100%.
everyone who has a meta has a meta on as an NFT on XDAI, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the user doesn't have to do anything different, right? It's just on a separate network, and if you want to move it to main chain, you can opt to do that anytime you want, and you can sell it on OpenSea. It's up to you,
Mm-hmm.
but from a business perspective, it is far cheaper, a lot more efficient, a lot better, better user experience, better everything if everything's on XDAI.
Yeah, we just saw it. We just witnessed it today. Like
Yeah,
that user experience was perfect.
yeah,
A click and done. Like
right.
no click and then prompt and
Yeah,
then
because think about it,
manual adjust and then accept and
dude. Think
then
about this, Iron Man. If we had that interactivity in MetaZone, you can still buy a meta with mana with regular mana, and then on our back end, we'll send you the NFT on XDAI.
yeah.
And you didn't have to like switch to X mana and then do the whole swap and all that stuff. It's just pay with mana, you receive an XDAI token. I mean, an
Hmm.
XDAI NFT.
Pay with mana for a meta, and then you receive the X die meta. Let's call it a meta X. And then what?
And
And
that's it.
then
And that's it.
so
And it's an
that's it.
NFT. It's on XDAI chain. and then you just hit deploy on your land, and that's it.
That's it. Okay. So the only time you ever want to like transfer that to mainnet is
if you want to sell it on
to sell it.
OpenSea or
we build the XDAI marketplace for these metas,
for
and
sure.
then we just say fuck mainnet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's happening. I anticipate that's gonna happen,
dude.
A lot.
Just like we're calling every NFT minting platform to use ERC20s, every single NFT platform will be using a sidechain. Every single one. Just because it's better.
Yeah. Sustainable.
It's sustainable.
And yeah, that's the buzzword. Buzzword of the day.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, we use that one pretty often.
We've been talking about it since day one, dude.
That's the word of the year, then, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's like our mantra, sustainability.
I agree.
All right, guys. So that's been the Block Runner podcast. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Block Runner, also at MetaZone.io. One last huge announcement is we're going to be working with Maddie on this new chat happening at least tomorrow. Once a week, if not more, but it starts tomorrow on Thursday. And it's going to be a Discord conversation on his Discord, and we're going to try to make this at least weekly, if not more. And it's just going to try to stay up to date on everything NFT, potentially everything DeFi, depending on, how it shakes up. But so, yeah, we're going to be doing that with Maddie, DCO blogger. Make sure you visit his website. This guy's like a tweet storm, like X-Man. He's like tweeting like constantly, like these huge threads are getting huge amounts of traction. He's got people hitting him up from all sorts of like communities. And so
because he's that guy, dude. He's the NFT guy. NFTs are just starting to catch wind. And there's no one better to go to like inform yourself if you're an outsider. And that's literally what we did.
That's right.
Literally. Whenever we first stumbled onto these NFTs, we're like, what the fuck? I want to learn more. So like YouTube search. And like back then, the only one was literally him, So we had no choice but to contact him and be like, hey, come on our podcast and like tell us more. And that's what happened. That's how this whole thing
kicked off. Then that's how we got here, and that's why we're still here.
And now we're full circle, dude. Now we're freaking merging. Like freaking fusion babies. You know what I mean? We're merging our podcast with his knowledge and our knowledge, and hopefully we can provide some valuable content.
Yeah, we want to, provide some documentation for everything, man, because we don't want anybody to get rug pulled. So we're going to be breaking down some projects and seeing, the viability of each project. I think all three of us are technical enough to break this stuff down. And I was, we were in a conversation with Maddie the other day, and we were talking about how people need a source to filter through all this crap. There's so much shit going on out there, and not everybody can be following along with what's going on. And so there needs to be some sort of filter that just there's a one location where people go and catch up on things and disregard like the crap out there and, pay attention to the signal versus the noise. So
that's all you guys, all you block runners out there, all you loyal followers, we're expanding the community a little bit.
Yep.
We're trying to merge communities, and let's all go on this journey together. You know what I mean?
Because I think all three of us are predicting the same things. Like NFT is going to be huge, and it's going to catch its own wave along with the rest of the ERC20 market as well as Bitcoin. And obviously, it's better to be early than to be late. So
I mean, we have, all three of us are personally, financially, like emotionally, everything. We're so invested into this space more than a lot of people. So it's like,
so if you're listening,
we see things coming a lot more clearly than most do.
And if you're listening, we know that you're invested as well. So so join us there as well. We'll put the links to the Discord and everything in the description, and then just hit us up, ask us questions, interact with us. We're friendly.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
Most of the times.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm a little emo. But
Yeah.
that's my moon phase. No big deal.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week.
All right, we're out. Peace.